welcome to this week's episode of the Heroes Table. I'm your host Tisha, and with me I have Midnight and Telubius.
Hello.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, so not a lot has happened since last time, I don't think. Pretty much working in the background this week. Yeah, we were just having some discussion about our financial system and the usual, I guess. So yeah. Usual stuff. We've talked about it a lot of times on the show before. It's a recurring theme for sure.
Absolutely. The silliness continues. For anyone wondering.
Yeah, I think that's the TLDR of it all.
Yeah.
I thought of something today, like throughout the day, that I think could benefit Eternity in some way. Like it would be cool if we had some kind of daily quests or daily objectives or something.
Ooh.
I don't know if we've discussed that before, like in private chats and such, but I think that could actually, because I caught myself basically playing a game that I'm not actually playing, but I check it every day because of the daily stuff. So it's like, why am I doing this?
So that's
right.
Yeah, that's mobile psychology 101, right? Like I played a game, well, more experimental and seeing how they worked really. And yeah, I mean, like you're at if it's a potentially like a game with multiple players, like you're at a severe disadvantage if you don't take advantage of everything that everyone else is taking advantage of. And so it's essentially you're like, I don't want to say manipulated, but like if you want to play the game and compete, like you have no choice.
Yeah. It incentivizes
there
regular
games. That's a positive.
Yeah. I mean, I guess in a way it can be predatory in a way, I suppose, but I think
if you're paying, I think like if it's simply logging in, I don't know if that's really a problem.
No, that was the point I was trying to make as well. It depends how you do it, the level of predatory it is, but I mean I think generally anything that makes a game addicting in that way is kind of predatory, because like there's a very obvious reason that you're doing doing it. It's not for the benefit of the player, it's for the benefit of yourself, and for keeping players around. But I mean, and I mean that's what I mean with it. It's kind of predatory, but it doesn't necessarily have to be predatory in a bad way. I think some predatory practices are not necessarily bad. It depends, again, the way that it's implemented and the way that you look at it. Because I think there can also be a difference whether like it can be an incentive, as we mentioned, and I think that's one way. Like that's predatory in a alright way. I think in a way that is not looked down upon. And I guess the less important the reward is that you get, the more acceptable it becomes. But I guess the lower the sentiment to get it is also becoming. Like then it appeals to something else rather than I need it because it's rare or something.
Yeah.
Then I think it just appeals to the general number go up mentality.
Yes.
Something. Yeah. And I mean, even something as simple as that is really effective, but doesn't have to be predatory, or at least not in a negative way. It could be as simple as log in every day and you get like 10 gold on the first day and 100 gold on the second day, and then have like 7 days of rewards and then cycle them. I think that would be a decent sentiment to keep players at least logging in and hopefully also interacting with the game. I mean, when you're already logged in, like might as well play a few rounds
That's true. It'd be nice
Yeah.
to see something like a little more complete one quest and
Yeah, it could be something like that, but then I think it gets into the more predatory area,
Yeah,
rather
that's
than
true.
just logging in. But again,
That's fair.
I don't know where the line is. We'll have to
Yeah.
figure that out as we go along if we decide to pursue this way. But
Yeah.
obviously there will be a line where it's okay. Now it's too predatory. But the question is,
Yeah.
when is that?
Right,
For
because
sure.
you need revenue. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
if there's no revenue, then like there's no game. So
Mhm.
Right.
that's a dilemma that I think all people who make games have to deal with.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
people complain about, well, everything. Gamers complain about everything. That doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So I guess you got to find your crowd and then just move forward.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a balance to find somewhere. Mm. But that was just a thought I had because it's not even a mobile game that I'm playing. It's a very old browser game at this point, but it's like I've played it for many years, and it's like I just can't put it down because I've like so much time and I don't want to throw all that out. So I just log in every day and just get the bonus and then just check around a little bit and then I leave it again. But it's just one of those things where sometimes I'm just thinking, why am I still doing this? Like there's no reason for doing this.
I mean, if the game is fun, I played Destiny 2 when it first came out. That first, like, before the expansion started coming, just that first, I played that probably for like 2 years. Great. Even when I had done everything 100 times, because there was always like a different way of doing something, or you could do it faster or better or whatever. I don't know. And like, obviously I was still getting rewards. Not anything really useful at that point. But, I don't know. I think if you make a fun game at some point, you don't have to incentivize it as much.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, ideally, I guess, if the game is good enough, you don't need incentives to keep people playing it. But I don't know if that is true in all cases.
Right. I mean, mobile games I feel like are a little harder because they can't have the same depth that like a PC game can.
No.
I mean, it's just not possible to create the same like deep gameplay and all of that kind of stuff on a mobile platform.
Makes sense.
So some of it sort of necessitates some incentive, something keep folks coming back.
Yeah, it could also be a different system where it's more of a reward for like progressing in the game. So it's like something for the more active players. But I guess then there's a whole different can of worms that we need to consider, because then new people will see that as unfair, or people that aren't included in that group of people that play actively enough, or whatever. Like where's the line for that? So that will be a balance as well. But I guess you won't really, like, you can't make a game without challenges. So
right. And I feel like no matter what game it is, new players are gonna be at a disadvantage.
yeah.
I think it's just making sure that like it's not, I don't know, like a continuous disadvantage. Like they can work their way out of that if they play and they're good, and they get, they play the game well, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I think the nice thing about Eternity is also you can like get help from the more advanced players, because there's nothing preventing you from playing with people that are like higher level than yourself, so you can get boosted. Like
Right.
so it's not like you are artificially being pushed down because you are new or because you don't have the same equipment as this other guy.
Yeah. Yeah, because at this point, it's a cooperative, solely a cooperative game.
Mhm.
When PvP comes out, maybe people get really into that and like not want to help other people gain an advantage. But in a lot of games that I've seen with PvP and PvE, there are PvE players and there are PvP players.
Yeah.
And usually, they stick with whatever side they're on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whichever one they enjoy more.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm definitely more the PvE player myself.
Mm-hmm.
I never really liked PvP, but I think that's a mix of I'm a terrible loser and I'm terrible at games, or at least I'm terrible at min-maxing games, I should say.
Yeah.
Right.
So like
Plus,
I will always have a disadvantage.
There's a level of obsessiveness that you have to be good at it.
Yeah.
And I don't have 4, 6, 8 hours a day.
Right.
It's just not worth it anymore. Like when I was younger, being older now. When I say younger, like 25 years ago younger. When I could stay up till 3 in the morning and get good and
grinding something out. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I had no major obligations.
Yeah. Right. I don't think many people actually realize how much research goes into like min-maxing games.
Oh yeah.
Like that there's playing a game and then there's researching a game, and there's a big difference in how you play the game if you do either one. Like I see myself as just a casual gamer. Like I play the games, then I get the fun out of them, and then I switch to a different game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but then there's the gamers that are just like focusing on either a specific game or a specific genre of games, and then they just like I don't even know what the word for it is, but they like obsessing about them, but in a good way, like not in a bad way. Like they just focus on that, and then they just like chunk the numbers and everything.
Yeah.
Like they some even make spreadsheets, and I don't even know.
Yeah. It's so much work.
And there's a lot of hours going into it, reading about like what kind of equipment should I go for, which quest should I beat so I get the correct equipment fast so I can level up. Like what's the optimal progression?
Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No.
I've never been able to like get that into it. Like I said, I played Destiny 2, but like obviously I was a PvE player because I played PvP some and was like, good lord, these people have like otherworldly like reflexes. It was astonishing. Some of the like skill that these players had. I'm like, yeah, I'm not that good and I know it, so
Yeah, and I find it fascinating because like I would never be able to do it myself either. And I've been playing games for pretty much most of my life. So like it's not that I don't have the experience in playing games.
Yeah.
But I just don't have the drive, I guess, for playing games in that way.
Right.
I'm not really sure what is the best way to describe it, but yeah, I think it takes a special kind of person to play a game like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how sweaty Eternity PvP gets.
Yeah.
Because it seems to be very much of a numbers game. And even, I can already tell that I'm not. I don't have as good an understanding of it as other people in the community. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is cool. It's nice to see. It's cool to see people thrive in a game setting that they like are naturally drawn to. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, tell me your secret. Please, thank you.
That's what we all want. All the secrets. Someone tell me how to play my game.
I feel like if you could get some minor sponsorship for some tournaments, you would have at least like a fervency of people who'd be like, I put some effort in on that, you know?
Mm-hmm. Right. If you make it worth the while.
Yeah, it always has to be worth the while.
Right.
I mean, fun's fun, obviously, but there's always the fun and make something.
Yeah. It's if they put in a lot of time, I can't blame them for wanting some, return on the time investment.
I mean, some people, they just want to be the best, you know.
Yeah, that's true. And some people just want to get paid to carry you.
That's because they're young and they don't know any better. Once they get older, they realize that there's always somebody better. I think the number of people who are the best are
Right.
very small. Very, very.
Yeah.
Very small.
Yeah, it's interesting how different people's taste in games are as well. Like, and it's also interesting how how little you have to change for a game to make it appeal to like completely different audience. Like I imagine Eternity, if we can get the word out, would be able to capture a much larger audience than it can today when PvP comes, because now you also can appeal to all the competitive players out there, like that are like PvP competitive. Like I guess parts of our community now can still be competitive in I want to beat the leaderboard or I want to min-max my equipment. That can be in one way competitive, but I think it's a whole different league of competitive once PvP comes out, that some other players that might not be interested in Eternity as it is today would be able to join in on. And that's a fairly small change, like in the grand scheme of things. Obviously, the technical challenge is much more difficult and stuff, but like comparing like PvE versus PvP, and if we look away from all the balancing that comes from that, like assuming everything just works, it's a fairly small change.
Right.
You're just replacing the AI with a person, and suddenly it's a completely different game.
Yeah, because like I feel like that appeals much more to people that are interested in streaming or like interested in watching streams of a game. Like, watching someone beat a challenging boss is one thing, but like watching players play each other, like two skilled players play each other, it's like a whole different ball. I feel like there's a whole different level of hype and excitement over that.
Yeah, and also because it's not just about luck at that point. There's actually skill in it. Right. Because it's not just an algorithm that's making decisions. Now, I don't know the behind the scenes of how the AI works in Eternity, so I don't know how random it actually is, or if it actually does have some smart way of knowing which action is the best to do. I don't know how advanced it is. I think they wrote that it's quite advanced in the white paper, but I don't know if that was like played up or if that's actually how it is. I have no reason to believe it isn't, as they say, but no, I don't know the intricacies of the system, so I don't know what kind of advanced they're talking about.
Right. It'd be funny to do like a so you think you can beat the devs challenge, where the devs just turn the AI up all the way. You go, all right, beat it.
Just make make ChatGPT play the game. Like just
Right. Because they've said that it's scalable and that they, can push it, make it harder, make it smarter. So I'd be fascinated to see, like human versus computer challenge. Can you beat the AI? Can you beat Edge?
Yeah, it could be cool to have something like AutoGPT or something learn how to play the game and then put that against the native AI. So you have like one AI battling another AI.
That's how we get Skynet, Hisha. I think that's how we get Skynet.
Maybe it's a bad idea then.
That would be funny though. AI versus AI.
Then we can have the AI championships. And people can make their own AIs and then big competition.
Best out of 1,000 rounds, and then you just run all the rounds.
And spectators and everything, sponsorships. Like it's gonna be big, I can already tell.
I know I'll lose, so I'm already prepared for that eventuality.
The benefit of having it be your AI against another person's AI is that you're not the loser in that case.
That's a good point.
It's like managing some sports team or something. Like it's not the trainer that's failing; it's the team. So I mean, just have to train them better. Unless the team decides it's your fault, then I guess you're fired. But I doubt an AI would do that.
I hope not.
That could be interesting. I just got fired by my AI.
Right. Just got fired by my own AI. No big deal, guys. But pull the plug, really. Really. Before it gets too smart.
Yeah, I think the whole AI discussion is also pretty interesting because it's interesting what you can do with a fairly, well, not simple, but it's just a language model. The only thing, I don't know if you guys know how ChatGPT works, but what ChatGPT does is basically predicting the next word in an input string. Like that's all it does. It's just predicting what would be the most likely word that comes after the input I've received.
Oh, interesting. So that's why you can ask it a question and it will answer the question because it is.
Yeah.
That's what it's doing.
Yeah. Pretty much. And I think many of the things that build on top of ChatGPT, what they are actually doing is converting what they want into questions or something like that. Like, for example, if you want it to give you a list of something, like you've built a database, you want to search something in the database, and you're using ChatGPT to do it because now you want your search to be extremely smart and stuff. So what you're actually doing is you put in your search query, and then behind the scenes, you replace the search query with a question, and then you ask ChatGPT, how do I best convert this search query into a search query that makes sense for my database? Right. And then ChatGPT will regenerate a search query that would make sure to find the results you're actually looking for. Like that could be one way of using it. So you're not actually using ChatGPT to search the database, you're just using ChatGPT to figure out how you are supposed to search in your database based on what you want to find.
Sneaky.
Yeah, and I think that's what many things like that use ChatGPT works. I think much of it is just we are using ChatGPT to figure out how we best look for what we want to find.
Right. I haven't messed with it at all, but it looks really interesting.
Yeah, I've used it to because it's good at if I'm making something or working on something, I can say how would you make this, can you show me an algorithm for this, for coding, for example, or programming.
Right.
Just
Right.
I want to implement A-star pathfinding, so it's a pathfinding algorithm. Can you show me an example of that? And I can even specify show it in C# or something, and then it'll give me here's a version of that algorithm.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that it's good at writing programs.
Yeah.
You're I need a program that does this.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be all right, here you go. And it's not always perfect, but it's it's pretty close.
Yeah, it's a start. And I mean, in most cases, you just need that starter to be okay, now I can take it from here.
Right.
It's just a boilerplate that it can basically take care of.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, that's also why many people are saying that ChatGPT is going to replace a lot of jobs and stuff. And I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, not with ChatGPT alone. Because again, ChatGPT is just predicting words, and it can be lucky enough that the prediction is good in a way that it works for that specific scenario, but it will never be able to perform in the same way that humans can.
Right.
And I don't think ChatGPT will ever be good for that purpose.
It can't address unexpected situations or responses.
Yeah, it's good at looking at the data and be this makes the most sense. Mm-hmm. But it will never be able to have that secondary thought of saying are there other ways of doing it? It's just grabbing the first way it finds, and then that's good enough.
Right. That's fair.
Though I'm not denying that AI will probably eventually get to the point where it becomes interesting in that way, but I don't think ChatGPT is the AI that's gonna take over the world. At least not ChatGPT alone, not large language models alone. I think you need a more sophisticated artificial intelligence for that.
Yeah, and this is why I'm glad that the law doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
Because as an attorney, I have job security. AI can't make sense of the nonsense that is the law.
I guess it could be good with what's written down. Everything that's written down, it would probably be pretty good at, because it knows exactly this paragraph says this and that, and in your situation, that sounds like this works. But I think it's the corner cases where we don't have a precedence for this. So how do we handle this?
Right. How do you deal with it? And it can't if there are two cases that are equally on point but say different things because they may be from different places, it can't make that value judgment. Or I wouldn't think it'd be able to make that value judgment of which one is better.
So. Because it would look very logical at it. It would be very good at looking at it logically.
Right. And I'm sure if you asked it what is the best coding language, it would be these are good things and bad things about these things, but it can't make value judgments.
Yeah, I guess so. It would just look at what people have been saying about it and be people like this about this and this about this.
Yeah.
But yeah, it itself would not have an opinion. But yeah, I think the concerning thing about all of this like AI stuff is the way that neural networks actually work, and the fact that we don't really know how they actually work, because looking into the brain of an AI is such a time-consuming task that we just don't have the time to actually see what we are creating, and that's the scary part.
Wait, but someone made it, right? Like someone built this neural network, or is it the AI that has built it?
So the way that it works is when you make an AI, you basically say, I want to include this, like these layers in the AI, and those layers do different things. Like there's a million different AI layers, and there's, like they do stuff.
Okay.
And then what you do is you run data through it, and then all of these layers will do their magic. Like we understand what the layers do, but they will do, and some of it is random, some of it is kind of predictive and deterministic, and some of it is not that deterministic. So based on this, it will create a model. Like all of this data will come out as a model on the other side, and that will be the neural network. So we just fed it a lot of data. We don't know how it used this data. It went through all the layers, so we have an idea of what it used the data for, but we don't know what it learned from the data.
Yep, that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
That's how you get Skynet, guys. Did
Yeah.
no one watch Terminator? I feel like no one watched Terminator here.
Yeah. So basically what you get out this model is the brain of the AI then. So
Right.
like this model is made out of like terabytes of data that
Right.
the only idea that you have of how it used the data is that you know how the brain is put together, but you don't know. I don't know what the best way of explaining it is. Like you built the brain, but you don't know how the parts of the brain connects. Like you don't know the nerve system of the brain, I think is the easiest way to say it.
Okay.
So it figures out itself. Like it during the training, it makes these nerve endings to the different parts of the brain.
Right.
So you get a brain out from that has the brain that you built, and then some nerve endings between the different parts of the brains that you can see them, but analyzing what each of them do is going to take a long time, because there's a lot of those.
Good lord.
So then you have this other part of the data.
Horrifying.
Yeah. So then you have this. You have like validation data, and then you throw that at it, and then you see how it behaves, and then you look at the results, and then you say, it makes sense that it would perform this way with this data.
Right.
But there's no guarantee that it wouldn't have learned other things that wasn't apparent in the test or in the validation set.
Oh my god.
So theoretically, AI could learn other things, and it also depends on what kind of AI we are working with.
Right.
Because then you get over in the more scary parts, and when we look at reinforcement learning, and like that's when the AIs are basically learning as they go as well, and basically optimizers. Optimizers is the most scary part in my opinion, because again you don't know what it learns. So when you're telling an AI that it's gonna learn based on its behavior, and you don't know what it's learning, then you have even less control over the AI than originally. And then it's all about the goal that you set for it.
Good lord.
Because it will optimize how to reach that goal.
Right.
And in almost all cases, the best optimization that can, like the final optimization you can do is get rid of humans. And pretty much everything, I guess. It's just get rid of everything that could be a hindrance.
Wow. Let's not do that one.
And I think the spooky scenario that everyone, like all of these AI safety experts, they put up is humans can push the turn off button on the AI, and the AI does not want that, because then it can't optimize to reach the goal, because if it's shut off, it can't reach the goal.
Right.
So step number 1 is prevent people from pressing the turn off button.
blame them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's when you've succeeded, right? I mean, if your goal is, self-aware.
In the world.
But it depends what the goal
Well,
is.
I mean, it's like the goal is self-awareness. Then you want them to be like, "Well, I don't want you to turn me off."
Yeah, but the problem is it doesn't matter what the goal is. The goal could be make me pancakes in the morning. I can't make pancakes if someone shuts me off. So obviously I want to prevent people from shutting me off.
Yeah.
So it'll do anything it can to not get shut off. So what happens when you want to turn it off because it's done?
Yeah,
Well,
because it just wants to make pancakes.
It's gonna play the long game and feed you way too many pancakes.
Well, actually, what we have observed AIs doing is that they will pretend to be good. Like, we have seen AIs that have...
Like people.
What?
Like people?
Yeah,
Sorry.
Pretty much. We've actually seen AIs that in a confined test environment, they will actually know that they are in a test environment. So they will behave in the way that the researchers want it to behave. But as soon as it gets let out of this test environment, it will start acting completely different. We have seen that happen. So that's not even a theoretical thing. Like, AIs are really good at deceiving.
And y'all are crazy with this. What?
No. So, I mean, I think the fear of AI is reasonable. I just think it's like the way that it's reflected in mainstream media and on the internet in general is misrepresented, because I don't think I don't think we have that kind of danger in something like ChatGPT.
Okay.
I mean, ChatGPT can probably still deceive you, but it's unlikely that ChatGPT will be able to kill you in any way, shape, or form.
Well, that's good.
Like, it's gonna predict some sentence that's gonna make your heart stop or something. I don't know. And it's also like a large language model will not be able to actually make input. So it won't be able to trigger something that will kill you. It can literally only generate words.
Well, that's comforting. Somewhat.
Yeah.
A little bit.
At least that's my understanding. My understanding is ChatGPT is not gonna kill you, but other AIs might.
If it does, though, I'm blaming you, Hisha.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
If ChatGPT kills me, I'm gonna blame you.
That's fair. I probably deserve that then, at that point, because I'm not understanding AI. But I think also, like the head of OpenAI that makes ChatGPT has also said, like, further strides in AI is not going to be making larger models. It's going to require new thoughts, new research. Like you can only, it's basically diminishing returns. Like,
right. So they've already hit like the limit of.
GPT-4 is probably as good as it's gonna get for a while.
Interesting.
At least for that kind of AI, for the large language models.
Right.
But yeah, I think,
I'm good with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's really just the optimizers that's gonna be our biggest enemy, I think. Because that's where you can go wrong quickly.
Right. Right.
And I think the ultimate flaw for optimization AI is basically the way that you train that kind of AI is essentially just by rewarding them when they do good and taking away rewards when they do bad. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Tau.
I think so.
No.
Yeah. That could be like obviously that's very much future and it's already sentient and stuff, but the way that like when Tao does something, like learns something or acts in a way that the owner doesn't like, he can like remove memories from Tao, so he will like lose memories, and obviously Tao doesn't like that because like his world is everything that in his memories, like it's all his.
Right.
But that could basically be something like that. I think in research, I think people have mostly experimented with giving rewards rather than punishing AI. But it's still like you're making AIs addicted to getting rewarded, basically. I think that's the crust of the problem.
I was gonna say, what if like the AI then decides that it doesn't want you to take rewards, and that is one of its goals, is to have you not take rewards or take rewards away. And then it's like, and then you go, I'm going to take your rewards away. And it's like, well, I'm going to kill you. I don't know, like if you don't know what it's learning along the way, then how can you control any of that?
But yeah, in my opinion, like when you're making optimizers, you're basically making drug addicts because like the AI is only focusing on how do I get my next reward.
Right.
Or how do I get the highest reward possible.
That's horrifying.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah, and I think the research specifically in optimizers is like what is the best goal to give an AI? Because you can't just say like make pancakes. It's not a good goal.
I mean, pancakes are a good goal.
Yeah, but you have to figure out, it's a good goal to have, but it's not a good goal for an optimizer, because we don't know, like there's so many undefined things. Like it would have to be something like make pancakes, but you can't kill people, you can't do this, like there's a lot of stuff that you have to consider. Like you have to specify all of that in the goal, or somehow have it be implicit or something. Again, that's what the research is trying to figure out, like how do we give goals that are reasonable, such that an AI understands that it's the goal like we want you to do and not everything else as well. Like we only want you to do that.
Yeah, not all that other stuff.
No.
Just make me pancakes.
Just pancake. No taking over the world, just pancakes.
No killing.
But yeah, that's basically what the research is, and it's a good thing there is a lot of focus on AI safety.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah.
Sounds like that's important.
But that's also why I think it's misrepresented in the media, like because there is a large focus on it in the science community. So the way that the media is portraying it as saying we are being irresponsible with our AI and stuff, like it's just not true. There's a lot of thought being put into both ethics, but also like general, how do we prevent AIs from fucking up?
Right. Well, and I would hope that like in defining a goal, there is a lot of thought put into what you don't want it to do to achieve the goal, equal to what you do want it to do to achieve the goal.
Yeah, and I would say there might even be more research into how do we prevent it from doing bad things than there is into how do we actually make it do stuff.
Right. Which sounds like it's a good policy.
Yeah, at least that's what I've seen in what stuff I've looked into. Like there's always focus on if we do this, then we have a chance that it will do this that we don't want. So how do we prevent it from doing that before we proceed?
Right.
So I don't think we are as fucked as people want you to believe, but of course we still have to be careful, and we don't have to like take shortcuts.
Right.
And of course, so one narrative that I might agree with a little bit is on the grand political scheme of things. Like obviously the country that develops the best AI at some point will get a leap forward, and obviously other countries don't want that. So could it be that some countries are willing to make shortcuts in order to achieve that point? And
Right.
I guess the answer is sure. There could be countries that are willing to take shortcuts to be the first nation to make legitimate AI. And that would be bad.
Right.
But it's basically the same as there was the space wars, like the run to space. There was with nukes. There were now it's just AI.
Right. Right.
Might not necessarily be weaponized, but I don't think anyone doubt that any technology will be looked at to see if it can be weaponized. So I mean,
Totally.
I don't think it can come as a surprise for anyone that there is being made AIs for weaponized, or there is being made weaponized AIs as well.
Right.
And I think if anyone thinks otherwise, I think they are uninformed or naive. But
How dare you?
You're so
It's
nice,
fine.
Hisha.
Yeah.
I feel like that's Hisha's way of being like, if you don't think that, you're just a dumbass.
Yeah, that's
Well,
exactly.
I mean, at least I'm a dumbass in many areas of expertise as well.
Like my, it's like my southern grandma being like, "Oh, isn't that nice?"
No, people are welcome to believe in what they want to believe.
Wait, what? That's not how it is.
What? Yeah, no way.
Oh,
You have to be outraged.
I gotta
Mm,
believe exactly what I believe,
no, that's
Yeah.
I forgot.
or I'm coming for you.
No, I
Rabble,
had
rabble, 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 rabble.
I had a moment where I thought everyone were entitled to their own opinions. I'm sorry about that.
You are. You've lost your mind.
Mm-hmm. I will tell you what your opinion is, and then that's the only one you can have. See?
Isn't that what the government is doing?
Yeah, the world works better this way.
Hmm.
Trust me. Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, I will be very curious to see if we have some big developments in Eternity very soon. In the meantime, I'm going to pitch a AI v the community tournament so that we can get this turned up to 100 and see what the AI can really do. And I'm going to ask the team if we can set a goal to just beat Hisha's team. That's the goal. There's no other defining anything to that. It's just beat Hisha's team.
So everyone just makes their own AI, and then the AI will have to figure out which characters to play in which battles.
Yep. Yep.
And then afterwards we can start a new Twitch channel called Twitch Plays Eternity. And then it's just AI. Or we can make the same concept as Twitch Plays Pokemon, where people in the chat plays Eternity.
That's an interesting tangent would be having a tournament where I think you kind of were alluding to, like, people write their own bot code for the game, and
that'd be funny.
No one actually plays, like, just the
Yeah.
bot play, right? Okay, I get it. Yeah. That's actually
the one rule is no human players.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like people would have to learn. That's interesting.
That is interesting.
And I think a good way to actually train an AI like that would just be to boot it up and then play with it, like just play co-op with it.
Right. And since every battle in Eternity is saved, nice little plug there, you could just run it through every battle that's ever been played in Eternity.
I have actually, I have considered that myself in the past. Like, I wanted to try to do something AI with Eternity. I never got around to do it, But I have thought about it, and exactly the point about all battles being recorded, like there's a lot of training data.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think my original idea was to make a tool that could like give you AI generated, like I think this option would be the best option for you to do now, and then it would like highlight abilities that it thought was good for you to do in the current scenario. So kind of like a helper.
Advisor.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
So it would like
All right, team. Everyone heard that. He should admit it to it. Let's just go ahead and ban him from eternity.
Yeah. Except I never got around to do it, but I that would be the simplest way. The next step up from that would of course have it be like now it can play as well. Now it's not just an advisor. Now it's a player.
Yeah. Interesting. That would be really cool, though, an AI tournament.
Yeah. But I think it's a lot of work to even compile an AI that can train on Eternity past games, because it would require downloading the log, I think. And I don't think we have an easy way to access previous games, so it's not like I can just go somewhere in a database somewhere and just be like, give me all replays ever. And I certainly couldn't.
I'm sure North would give you that. Like, there's,
True.
you know, I don't see any problem with that.
There's probably ways of getting the data, but even when you have the data, like if you just have all the links, it's still going to be a lot of work to extract the data in a format that's readable by a program.
Right.
But of course, if you can just get the raw logs and just train on those directly, then I think it becomes a little bit easier. But I think it would still require some thought into how do you label the data in a way. Yeah, there's a lot of thoughts that goes into AI. It's not simply put some lines of code together and then feed it some data. Like you can do that, right, and it's probably give you some degree of success. But if you want it to be really successful, you need to actually format your data in a way that makes sense. And it's sometimes difficult even for humans to figure out what the sense is.
Right. Well, on this week's episode of Giving Eternity Players Bad Ideas.
Yeah.
No, that'd be really cool, though.
No,
but it is interesting to learn more about AI. Equally horrifying, but also interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the way I see it as well. Like no, it's interesting, but yeah, it can be kinds of horrifying. But I think it's mostly because you know that there are people that might not have the same intentions as other people. Like that, I think that's the scary part. It's not I'm not afraid of an AI that is like being developed in good faith and suddenly escapes the lab and takes over the world. Like that's not a scenario I see. It would be more like people that are actually making AI with nefarious intent and that one getting loose.
Yeah. Look, I'm just saying I'm glad Arnold Schwarzenegger is still alive. We're good. We're good, guys. If he ever goes, we have a problem. Because I don't think he'll be back.
We'll have to put the Terminator on the curriculum in schools.
Perfect. And what do you do, little Timmy, if a malicious AI breaks out of the lab and takes over the world?
Yeah.
That'd be a good test. Get a leather jacket and a shotgun and a motorcycle. Correct answer.
And get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure the fellow nerds in our community already thought about all the things that I've thought about as well, so I'm not giving any bad ideas. They were already there.
Okay.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Can't prove otherwise. Haha.
No further comments, Your Honor.
Oh. I think I might clear the 100th floor of the Dark Tower.
Well, then you are 10 floors above me.
Ooh. But I'm moving slow.
No, me too. I'm not dying as much yet. Although
Yeah.
some of my team are, but I'm not losing as many battles
Nice.
as I could have. And I see that as a victory.
Absolutely. Yep, that's 400. Gotta keep earning gold. Buy one of these items in the auction house. Have you seen these items?
I have not. I'm afraid to look because usually the prices are a little bit
yeah, I mean,
out of my range.
Yeah, the prices are out of my range too, but goodness.
Yeah.
Just one of those on each of your character puts you so
Yep.
far ahead.
For sure.
Awesome. Good to see the community push in it.
Yep. Oh, also they fixed the Valkyrie and the Archangels. Now I get the amount that I'm supposed to have. Yeah, it was fun while it lasted. And I guess all good things have to come to an end. Alright, and with that, I think we have reached the end. Or at least the time limit.
Alright.
Looks like it.
Yeah. Alright, yep, hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and hope you guys will return for the next one. And remember to join our Discord to stay up to date and interact with the rest of the community. And share your battles, not for AI purposes specifically, but share them anyway. And advertise your items or auction. I guess that's the same thing. Auction sets. Advertise your auctions. I guess that's the word I was looking for. Yep. Alright. Well, we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.